Hello guys! In this video, I will show you how to crochet these beautiful fingerless gloves. These gloves are so easy to make, it will only take you a few hours without any complicated measurements or calculations. So let's get started. For the materials, you will need yarn, hook, and a needle for sewing your gloves. As for the yarn, I prefer choosing a mix of yarn, like mix of wool with cotton, so your gloves will be warm, and I will be using 4mm hook. We will start with the chain row. The length of your chain row will be the length of your gloves. The measurement is very easy. Just place your hand and think about the length of the gloves you prefer. For example, in my case, I want my gloves, let's say this long, so I will need to crochet number of chains enough for this length. Let's start with knot. Here is a knot, and as I mentioned, I will just crochet a number of chains enough for the length of my gloves. Okay, let's check. As you can see, it's not enough, so I will crochet maybe twice longer. Okay, let's see now. Well, yeah, it looks good. Pretty long. Just don't forget that your final pattern will shrink a bit, so just in case you can add a few more extra chains. But in my case, it's pretty long already, so even if it shrinks, it will be still good. So let's proceed with the first row. To start first row, you will need to skip the very first loop. Skip in the very first loop, and we will crochet into the second loop. We will start with half double crochet. Yarn over, insert the hook under the second loop, pull the yarn through. Now you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through 3 loops. Here you have your first half double crochet, and we will continue with the same stitch till the end of the row. Yarn over, insert the hook under the next loop, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through 3 loops. Let's continue. Yarn over, insert the hook under the next loop, pull the yarn through. You have 3 loops on the hook, so just pull the yarn through these 3 loops. And again, yarn over, insert the hook under the next loop, pull the yarn through, and pull through these 3 loops. Now simply proceed with this same stitch all the way to the end of this row, and we will meet there. So we just finished our first row, and before we start our second row, we will need to do chain 1, one more chain. Now we can turn our pattern, and we will proceed with the same stitch, half double crochet stitch, all the way to the end of this row as well. But in this case, we will be using only back loops of the stitches. So look at your stitches and find back loops. Here's back loop, here's back loop, here's back loop. So we will be crocheting through this back loops. As always, keep in the very first loop, and we will crochet into the second loop. So yarn over, then insert the hook under the back loop of your next stitch, pull the yarn through. Now you have 3 loops on the hook, and pull through these 3 loops. Again, yarn over, insert the hook under the back loop of your next stitch, pull the yarn through, and pull through these 3 loops. Again, yarn over, then back loop of your next stitch, pull the yarn through, pull through these 3 loops. You will crochet the same stitch all the way till the end of this row as well. So we just finished our second row, and to start our third row, we will do chain 1. Chain 1. Now we can turn the pattern, and again we will proceed with the same stitch in this row as well. Don't forget to use only back loops of your stitches. And as always, we will skip the very first loop and we will crochet into the second loop. Yarn over, insert the hook under the back loop of your next stitch, pull the yarn through, and pull through 3 loops. And again, yarn over, then back loop of your next stitch, pull the yarn through, and pull through these 3 loops. Now you need to proceed with the same stitch all the way to the end of this row and in all the following rows till you crochet a piece enough for the width of your gloves. I've done this piece, and now I need to check if it's enough for the width of my hand. So I can place my hand, fold it over, and see if it's enough. So yeah, it looks pretty good, enough for my hand. Of course, you can check with yours and maybe add some extra rows, maybe frog a bit, but I see that I can proceed with sewing the gloves. So we'll be sewing our gloves starting from the bottom. And at this point, you can already grab the needle and sew it together with a needle, just leaving a small hole for your thumb. But I love using the hook, so I will show you how I sew my gloves with the hook. So fold your piece the way that you have the beginning of the first row and the end of the last row at the same place. Here we will be using this loop and the back loops of the last row. We'll start sewing between these stitches of our first row. You can find the stitches by pulling the space between them. And we will need to pull our last loop through the very first stitch of our first row. So, insert the hook under the very first stitch we had, then grab our last loop and pull it through. No worries about this yarn end. You can hide it now and weave it in later on. So now we just need to start with the chain 1. Chain 1 and insert the hook under the stitch of your front piece and under the back loop of your back piece. Here. Now pull the yarn through and pull through this loop on the hook. We will be sewing with a slip stitch. So let's continue. Insert the hook under the next stitch. Here is the next stitch. And the back loop of the stitch here. Pull the yarn through and pull through the loop on the hook. As I mentioned, this is a slip stitch, so we will continue sewing it together with a slip stitch. So insert the hook under next stitch and under the back loop of the stitch from the back piece, pull the yarn through the loop on the hook. And again, next stitch, then back loop on the next stitch, pull the yarn through and pull through the loop on the hook. You will continue sewing on the same way till the hole for your thumb. So let's check. Yeah, I think it's enough already. So now I can have a hole for my thumb, like here. Yep, that's good. So now you simply can cut off the yarn and weave in the ends. So now you can proceed sewing it on together from the other side. Just don't forget to leave the hole for your thumb. So I finished sewing my glove, also weaved in the ends. Let's check the final result. And it looks good. Now all you need to do is to finish the second one the same way as this one. I hope you enjoyed the video and your final result, and if you like this tutorial, please don't forget to like and subscribe so I can see you in the next one.